I'm one of the founders, a co-founder of 34th Avenue Open Streets, but I'm just one person. We have about 150 volunteers, 40 that work any given week on closing and opening the streets, programming. And this all started right after the city did a very poor pilot program that was just 2 blocks long by our only park, by the only space that we did have, and it was very heavily policed. So what we wanted to do uh, is uh, is activate the street. When the police were in charge of the street, no one was using it, and one of the reasons they canceled it after a very short pilot was they said no one's using it, and not realizing how uninviting it was. So we actually took over a small street, uh, closed it with sandwich boards, and immediately filled up with kids. And we started chalking. We started using it that day, and it was just a message to DOT and the mayor that really just some signage and a barricade is enough. You don't need a big police presence. But we also knew that you needed to invite people out to the street because the street is, for many people, a very dangerous place. That's where people get hurt by cars, and for unfortunately for 20, 30 years, we've stopped playing in our streets and enjoying them. And so what we wanted to do immediately was we instituted programming, and we instituted programming pretty much 7 days a week. We did a few right off the bat, and we did Zumba and salsa and Pilates. This is a children's game, Sapo from South America. And we also said, bring out your beach chair, come out for coffee, relax. And this year is an ESL class, every different nationality practicing English. This was potluck. We basically pulled out all the stops, and this is our family bike ride every Friday. We get 10 to 40 people, depending on the weather and the day. Just really, this is Pilates. Painting. We just really wanted to make sure that people took ownership of the streets. So that's why we had volunteers. So we also wanted to make as many people invested in our streets. So we first partnered with over a dozen community groups to help us back us in our bid to make sure that we could take over from the police to open and close the street. We don't have a wealthy bid in our area. We don't have restaurants. This is all residential. And so every single day we were out in the street in the winter, Halloween, we put cultural programs, dance programs. We also try to respond to any complaints. So people say, oh, it's a little dirtier. The whole city was dirtier, but we say, you know what? We'll do cleanups on Saturdays. We partnered with this is one of our partners, Ciclistas, Latino Americanos. We said, come do your 34th Avenue bike ride on an open street and not worry about having to need a police escort. We did candlelight vigils. We did caroling. We did everything from early mornings to evening, just depending on the day. And the DOT was really wonderful and looked the other way and basically let us find what worked and what didn't. And this is a big success being able to do this. And we have volunteers, cheerleaders up to 80 years old. We have a lot of teenagers that help us. And basically a lot of our programs were started, like this particular one is a races. A 13-year-old boy said, I would like to do races. And we said, okay, if you really want, come with your mom tomorrow and we'll do races. Someone else approached us and they want to practice English. And so anybody who met us on the street, we just immediately started programming with them. All they had to do was show up. And no matter what the weather, we did it all year round. We thought it was very important to make sure, just like when I grew up in the Bronx, and we used the street all year round. And we wanted to bring that same kind of freedom and safety back to our streets. And there was, later on now the permitting process, unfortunately, is very arduous. And we're hoping that DOT can make it, they've made it a little slightly easier. But in order for this to work around the city and for it to be more equitable, that we really have to make this a lot easier and let a lot more flexibility. Uh, you know, uh, right now there are certain things that are not permitted, or it's just so painfully screen after screen to do these things. And we think this to be all over the city, we really need to make a really easy ask, especially if the street, once the street is designated, it should be a couple of clicks and you get to do your programming. Um, Now our street, is 26 blocks long, and we pushed for that. We wanted all of 34th Avenue actually, because in order for it to be meaningful, it has to be more than a block or so. It should, and our goal is for it to be a connected network, so that you could travel throughout the city on your bicycle, on your skateboard, or just going for a walk without ever having to fear for your life or worry about cars. And we've been very lucky with our drivers. They've seen, then their residents themselves, they've seen that maybe it might be a second or two out of longer of their day, but we've shown, look what you can do. Park your car and then come join us. Come join us and learn salsa, or help a neighbor learn English, or go for a nice bike ride. And this is basically, we just try to engage as many neighbors as we could. And any complaints or any issues, we've tried to address them. And we work very closely with DOT and previously NYPD to make sure that everybody can enjoy our streets safely. And I can't emphasize, Leslie also emphasize this, programming is key in order to bring people out comfortably in the street. If you just simply close the street, it's not going to magically fill with people. Now that we've shown that you can do that, I saw a tap dancing class the other day. I've seen every kind of boxing class. I've seen, people have seen probably in the New York Times, seniors playing bingo. We've seen every kind of people in person come out and use the street the way that it can benefit them the most. And this pales in comparison to any park, because it's right outside your door, and it's accessible from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Moments from where you are. And a lot of our people who enjoy our street, they might be day laborers, cleaners. And so all of our programs are geared to just drop in. You don't have to sign up. It doesn't matter if you miss a class or miss this, you're always welcome. So that way we capture all of our neighborhood from all income levels. And we love 34th Avenue. We're thrilled that it's permanent. And we'd like to see this, as I said, a connected network throughout the city. So thank you.